Construction.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction with your hosts Alex and
Deborah Harry.
And you can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/Hardy Construction, as well as facebook.com/The Hardy Construction. Today's film is
Halloween, the original.
Halloween is a 1978 film directed by John Carpenter. And this tagline is from IMDb. A psychotic murderer institutionalized since childhood for the murder of his sister escapes and stalks a bookish teenage girl and her friends while his doctor chases him through the streets. It's written by John Carpenter as well as Deborah Hill. Stars Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tony Moran.
Do you think that in some way Sleepaway Camp 1, the twist ending of that, where you find out that Angela actually is a boy with a penis, was inspired by Jamie Lee Curtis's real life story of having a penis?
You always hear that rumor about her. And
is that true? Like, I heard she was born with a penis and
both parts?
Or maybe some kind of male genital part in her, or something weird.
It's almost like the Richard Gere thing with the gerbil up his ass.
With the gerbil on his butt, yeah.
Apparently, then they were trying to say that maybe Sylvester Stallone started that rumor. Because he was on a set.
That's an awesome rumor to start.
But the funny story is that I guess Stallone and Richard Gere were on set for a film, and Richard Gere was eating a greasy sandwich next to Stallone in this truck, and he dropped the grease on his pants on purpose, and Stallone physically threw him out of the truck. I just picture Richard Gere eating this big greasy sandwich, and so like, hey, and he just picks him up and throws him right out the fucking car. I'd watch that movie, and then apparently he might have said the rumor.
I just typed in Jamie Lee Curtis penis on Google, and so she was born an intersexual. It is physically impossible for a human to be born a hermaphrodite, but she was born with a penis that was not quite clinically large enough to be considered a penis. It is easier to make a hole than build a pole.
Wow.
Who knows if that's real?
But also, going back to Sylvester Stallone, there was a rumor that he likes to pay women to take shits on glass tables while he watches from underneath.
Sylvester Stallone's into that?
That's what I heard.
That was probably the counter rumor spread by Richard Gere.
I can't do a Richard Gere impersonation. But yeah, the Jamie Lee Curtis thing. You know what's funny? You always hear about that, and then when I saw True Lies, when she's because I never thought she was attractive.
Yeah, she's hot in that movie.
True Lies, I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was like a young guy watching that movie, and I was like, holy! I saw it with my mom. So
that's a fucking good movie. It really is. It's like 3 movies in one.
James Cameron did it. That's why it's good. And it's a remake. That's what really upset me. I was like,
it's a remake, and James Cameron did it. I didn't know that.
It's a remake of I believe a French film. So.
And James Cameron really did that?
Yeah. That's why you see Schwarzenegger's
That's why it's so
in it.
Friggin' big.
James Cameron knows how to film a movie. People shit on James Cameron. Avatar wasn't the best movie ever. When I first saw it,
I never saw it, but
it's a movie.
I didn't like when I heard that people were getting depressed and killing themselves because they couldn't be in Pandora.
Yeah, but you can't shit on a movie because of that.
This is so stupid. I refuse to see it.
No, you can't shit on the movie. That's the stupidity of people. It's not the stupidity of the movie.
I know.
The movie was okay, but it's not.
I have association things in my brain. I get real.
That film is the best viewed when you have it on. I saw it in the first time I saw it was in a regular theater with 3D glasses. And I was like, it's all right. You know what I mean? It's Pocahontas or fucking Dances with Wolves.
It's like a kids movie, kind of.
Basically, it's like the white man dealing with the natives and then saving the natives kind of thing.
Except the aliens.
And then I saw it on IMAX in 3D, and it was one of the best things I ever saw. The movie, not really, but one of the best things visually I've ever seen. So James Cameron has that, and he's going to make Avatar 2, 3, and 4 instead of making... Because he's trying to build a Star Wars universe with Avatar.
Oh, fuck it.
The only thing with Avatar is that there's no compelling characters enough to make it cool. If they had Zoe Saldana, real, in the movie running around
Sigourney
naked...
Weaver in that?
Yeah.
Actually, we should talk about Halloween.
Is that what we're talking
I'm sorry,
about?
I took us on
I thought this was the Avatar episode. But yeah, Halloween deals with, I was going to say Stoney Curtis. Do you know how much of a weird reference that is? Stoney Curtis is a Flintstones version of Tony Curtis. And I don't even know why. I said it because I fucked up Jamie Lee Curtis's name, but it's like Stoney Curtis. Yeesh. All right, so Jamie Lee Curtis plays. Go ahead, you know her name.
It's Jamie Lee Curtis's Michael
Laurie
Myers'
Strode,
strange sister.
Yeah, Laurie Strode. Well, actually, it starts out with a POV. Is it POV with Michael Myers killing his whole family and all that bullshit?
It's like supposed to be Halloween night, I think, or something, and then as he's a little kid, and then he does kill his family. Yeah,
Here's the thing with this episode. This is the final part of the Big Five.
yeah, this got a little messed up.
This is it. Yeah, because of Hurricane Sandy. That's what she knocked Danny right out of the fucking country. He ended up in Oz.
No, I in all honesty, there
He
are
just didn't
people
want to
who
do
have
it.
friends with that had it so much fucking
Oh,
worse.
worse,
I got
yeah,
off
yeah. Me, I couldn't get a train service. That's how bad it was for me. But everybody else, they got really fucked.
I lost internet connection for a couple days, and I couldn't get gas in my car for a couple days. That's nothing. I know
The
somebody who's
horror.
fucking.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find
Shit,
this is
sucks.
us being serious for a second, but if you can send money to people, because a lot
Yeah,
of people,
I could use some money actually.
a lot of people are shitting on the Red Cross, but if you can just do Hurricane Sandy stuff, please do it because people fucking need it. It's horrible.
Yeah, or
Anyway.
even just if you got a car with gas, give people rides and shit, and help them move their stuff out of storage units and whatever the
Definitely.
fuck. That's what I did today. Actually.
Carpool and stuff. All right, back to our rape jokes. So
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis plays Laurie Strode. She's a young college girl who's. And here's the thing with this is we got fucked over because of but things with our last couple of episodes have not been getting the amount of episodes hits like it should, like usual. Like the first ones we did with Chucky and we did with Hellraiser actually got a lot of hits. And it's funny enough because they were the lower ranked ones on the this month of of
I
Halloween's
think
month.
people are more into Chucky than they are into Jason.
Yeah, because Jason was a little bit of hits. Freddy got about the same amount of little plays, and I was like, "Wow, fuck, man! You think
That's
those are the two
surprising.
main
Though. I would
guys?"
expect. I mean,
And the
Jason
thing is, we couldn't be like,
Statham-
"Wow, do we suck that bad that they don't want to hear it?" But the thing is, the podcast has listeners, so why would they not listen to that episode unless they're just not interested in the character? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That kind of idea. It's a weird way of thinking about it. But with Michael Myers, as we stated in previous episodes, which you probably didn't listen to, is that Michael Myers is interchangeable with Jason Voorhees, and people are going to shit on it in a way. But go ahead.
A lot of people would be offended by it, but I have to admit, I've never really given a shit. I've never really cared about so many of the mainstream big franchises until getting older. I used to just watch random horror movies with my dad, not even knowing what they were, and just always been into obscure random horror movies. Never I've never seen probably all the Halloween movies in my whole life, even now, and
Yeah.
I definitely haven't seen every single Jason movie. Whatever. I've seen every Freddy movie only because I only just got into Freddy.
There's something more to Freddy movies than there are Halloween movie. I'd like to say.
But the Halloween and Jason movies, they do have very different vibes actually. But in the end, they are pretty much the same exact thing.
Yeah, right. But one has more of
more
a gimmick
scary.
that can be twisted around more. So I think in this episode, and we're not just going to only cover the first Halloween, but basically the idea of Michael Myers and what his movies span, which is not much really.
There's a more dark and serious feel to Halloween than to Jason than to Friday the 13th.
It's strange because Halloween came out in the aftermath of films like Black Christmas, which Christmas, if you look at Black Christmas, which is a fucking awesome slasher film, kind of has all the trappings of every kind of slasher film that's there. But that movie used stuff from separate types of films to create that kind of slasher genre, and then Halloween follows. You know what I mean? So it's weird that Halloween
This movie has minimal.
Halloween is
actuality.
Halloween
It's
is kind of seen as. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying this first Halloween movie is very minimal gore and violence.
Right.
In actuality.
This is
It's
what
more
I
about,
think.
the mythology of this guy according to Dr. Loomis. or something.
Halloween is seen usually as a seminal, slasher film, like it's the first slasher film, which is not true. I think it's because you see the slasher walking around as opposed to Black Christmas, you don't. I think that's why Halloween gets that. Oh, it's the first slasher because Michael Myers. Michael Myers' look is fucking awesome. It's fucking. As a kid, when I used to switch it onto the TV and I see it, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm not. I don't want to see that. Jason spooked me too, but not as bad as Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is more humanoid. And
right,
Jason's
just that
cock.
face, and I think that's why it clicks more with people that Michael Myers is human and he's killing people and stuff like that. And the reason why the fucking movie is just looks good and just paced good is because it's John Carpenter. John Carpenter in his prime, the motherfucker knew how to make movies. He knew. I say knew because I just saw recently a little bit of Ghosts of Mars, and I don't know what happened to him. He went out of his mind making
I've never
movies.
seen that. It's terrible. I'm taking it.
It has Ice Cube in it. That's how good that movie is. I don't know
Oh,
where
jeez.
somebody jumps from like a black actor to become a tough hero. They jump from like it's Triple X was that Vin Diesel movie where he was an action hero. Then they were like, okay, who's another black guy that we can use to? Even though Vin Diesel is like, I don't know what he is. He's like it's Native American or something. But
I mean,
he actually
made
looks like
The
Saget.
Thing, and that's
looks like Saget
an
from Street Fighter.
amazing, awesome fucking movie.
Which movie?
Thing.
Right,
Yeah.
but the thing is with Triple X 2, they went to. I'm sorry, I'm like totally going. But Triple X 2, they went with Ice Cube. You know what I mean? So it's like that's why they pick Ice Cube. But anyway, The Thing is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Halloween
I
is
haven't seen
amazing.
a lot of his movies, but like I'm
John
looking at his
Carpenter-
filmography now. He did like Children of
They-
Children of the Damned, which is like pretty Village of the Damned. Sorry,
Isn't
That's pretty-
isn't that the movie where those kids fucked up Christopher Reeve's back and he couldn't walk?
Yeah,
anymore?
that's where they're fucking him in the ass so
Yeah,
hard that
that's
he's
so
paralyzed
bad.
forever.
That's fucking horrible. Have you heard a worse, more horrible thing that happened to Christopher Reeve, and then his wife died of lung cancer, even though she never smoked cigarettes?
Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
That sucks.
God just was like, "Fuck, man."
Oh, I wanted them to be reunited in heaven.
That's a nice way
maybe
to
what
look at
happened.
it. That's a nice way to look at a horrible tragedy. Anyway,
Maybe who knows? It's possible.
But John Carpenter also made They Live, which is one of the awesomest movies I've ever seen, and Big Trouble in Little China. You can just read off a lot of the movies that he had, and the motherfucker knows how to frame a movie. I mean, you just look at Halloween. Just
Yeah, and it's got a cool paced vibe and everything. I'm just talking about even just the first one because I'm not so familiar with them, and like, it is like it keeps you engaged even though there's really in actuality not that much happening in this movie, like as far as like gore and violence and shit. It's more just like some guy creeping around looking in at teenagers.
and that's what makes it different because you watch all the other shitty horror movies that followed it, like how
There's countless ones.
any slasher that followed Halloween, where it was just they filled up the screen time with teenagers talking, which happens in this movie too. But
it's like a staple. You have to have fucking teenagers that are talking and having sex while their parents are away on vacation and stuff.
And this is the film that basically introduced that kind of thing into the genre. I would say this one. It happens in the other movies too.
Friday 13th didn't even come until like a couple years later. I think like
look up Black Christmas. Look up the year that came because I'm sure it was a little like maybe a year before this one. And
Black Christmas.
But I think they was shot around. I think Halloween was shot before Black Christmas came out.
1974, 4 years earlier, and they're remaking it, I suppose. In
They
2006.
remade. Yeah, that was stupid. But anyway, with this, I think what works the most with Carpenter's deal with this film is just that every shot serves a purpose. Like the fucking wide shots look scary. The close up shots there's no way to explain it, but you just have to watch this film. Just how John Carpenter. If you like the film the way it looks,
Yeah.
this is perfect just for watching it because he knows how to fucking frame a horror film. Like John Carpenter, like he's like a genre director. Obviously, if you look at his IMDb credits, you can see how many different types of films that he did, and they all skew it to like weird kind of weirdo genre action or horror films. If you look at Thing, you see how Thing is.
And that's another like slow-paced yet awesome movie.
And John Carpenter scores the film, and the music is amazing in The Thing.
Oh, wait, he does this. You're saying he actually did the score, the music?
Yeah, he
score?
makes the music. He made the theme for Halloween too.
Oh, cool.
The guy's a
That's
fucking
awesome.
genius. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he was on set one day and a crane fell on his fucking head because he fucked up everything else.
Now, you know what? It's the same thing with like everybody. They get older, they get like fat and lazy, and then they.
I think he's stayed skinny. He's looked old his whole life.
No, I mean fat, like as in just
Rich
lazy
or something. Oh, okay. And
creatively, just like George Lucas is a perfect example. Stephen King, kind of too, in some ways. I don't know.
I hope that Disney thing with Star Wars works out. I hope they.
I don't know how I fucking feel about that. And there's so many. I used to be a bit of a Star Wars dork, and I read a lot of the books that come after, like the adult novels or whatever, and they take place like directly after. And there's awesome stories, like there really is, but like there's no way.
Apparently, this
Get all
story.
actors to do it. There's no way that they would look young enough to. Like they're gonna have to create a whole new story.
Yeah, they said the 7, 8, and 9 take place after like the most famous trilogy of novels that came out. I forgot to call it Thresh or I'm sure there's people going, no man, it's this one. But it's like
I've only read maybe 2 trilogies of books after that, and then like a couple random ones. but
You
they
can
take
tell.
place like right after. It's all about the building of the new republic and like getting.
I bet you, Mark Hamill was moonwalking in the streets and went right to the gym because he's got a new job now.
He's a great voice actor. People don't even know like all the cartoon voices
Joker.
he does and everything.
Okay, so let's go over the span of Halloween because listen, to review Halloween is saying, look, it looks pretty. What's her face is really good as Laurie Strode.
And
Jamie Lee Curtis is good as Laurie
she-
Strode because
yeah.
she's not a chick and shit, but she's playing scared really well. Donald Pleasance is fucking awesome as a doctor. Whenever you put like an old British guy
He's good.
running
man.
around.
That Dr. Loomis, he's really good.
and he's like, oh, there's evil in here. He's evil.
I could listen to him talk like endlessly. Actually, he's
When
great.
he's reading pornographic novels, he's like,
Right,
Hey,
I want to
shut
have
the-
audiobooks of him like.
But
read-
he's really good, and you know what I mean that he's a very hard person to recreate film wise, unless you have Anthony Hopkins. You know what I mean? But they
Yeah.
decided to replace him with what's his face in the Rob Zombie remake,
Alex from Clockwork, Malcolm
McDowell.
or something.
And
yeah,
Malcolm McDowell is good in his own right as kind of one of those go-to, European actors that are really good in everything. But I don't know how well he worked on the remake.
I liked it.
I
actually
grew an
loved
appreciation
remakes.
for the
Most people don't.
remakes because I was kind of like, I wasn't really, a huge fan of
I
Halloween
actually
to
didn't
begin.
see the second remake, the sequel to it, but I loved the first. one.
Actually saw the second one, and you know what I mean.
Good? Like I actually like I own it. It's embarrassing. I
To
own it. I
me-
still haven't seen it because when Blockbuster went out of business, I bought like so many movies, and I've still been trying to watch them all. Like
To me, it felt unnecessary. Like to me, I know Rob Zombie has so much potential to make really cool art house kind of weirdo movies,
yeah.
and like who the fuck cares about making another Halloween? You know what the movie's about.
Well, what
It's
the
a
hell? I mean,
slasher,
it's
right?
like a 10 series thing. So if he
Right.
makes 2, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I'd want him working on a new movie. Like apparently his new movie is really good. The oh god, the Witches of Eastwick Part 2. No, whatever
Are
that
you
movie
there
is about
right
the
now?
witches, huh? What happened?
Yeah, you cut out for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool.
He's making that movie about the
anything Rob
witches.
Zombie makes so far, I'm impressed with.
So another thing, did you ever see Halloween 3?
That's the one that's like not Halloween.
I liked
it's
it.
like a totally different thing, right?
People shit on that movie, and I think you would enjoy it because it's a weirdo movie about a corporation with cyborgs, and they have a plan to make these children wear Halloween masks. And when they watch a certain signal on the television screen, they mutate and die.
Yeah, I remember you were saying
It's
like
a real weirdo movie.
that
Man.
like each one is like a that originally they're planning
Originally,
on
yeah.
being like each one's a different story or something.
Halloween 3 was a test that because
What was Halloween 2 then?
Halloween 2 was a direct sequel to the first one. I never saw Halloween 2. But in that one, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, and I think everybody died at that one. Like
So
everybody
Friday the
just blew up.
13th really did just straight up like rip it off. Even the idea of having each one be a different one when they tried to do that psychiatric hospital thing.
No, the thing is that directly dealt with Jason Voorhees.
No,
You know
I
what
know,
I mean?
but like they were
Halloween
going for,
3
like-
was no connection at all to Michael Myers. Like it was a completely different movie. They were actually watching Halloween on the television set in that movie. Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh.
that's how separate they were from each other. That they were acknowledging that Halloween was a film series
Right.
in that one, as opposed to Jason. Like
That was
that
a
guy,
fish
that
ball,
in Jason Part 5, it was a guy portraying Jason. So that way, at least they kept continuity in that sense.
Yeah.
Jesus, I sound like such a pretentious asshole. But
You are.
But Halloween 3 I actually enjoyed for like if you're not so people are so adamant about slasher films and it should go a certain way. It's like it's a guy fucking killing people. It's like Halloween 1, it's a guy, the last 40 minutes of him chasing this girl around the house, and it's intense and it works well on a big screen in a dark
And then, of
theater,
course,
right?
there's always like that question: how the fuck can a normal human get stabbed in the eye, stabbed in the neck, stabbed in the chest, shot like 8 times, and survive, and fall out a window and survive? Like,
And that's why they have Halloween 6, where it's revealed that there's some sort of weird messianic, satanic, or whatever kind of cult that is fueling Michael Myers, and he has to kill his family. It's
right.
bullshit. It's just like we said with Jason 6 when he died. He died in Part 4 that they revitalized, or they revived him in Part 6 as a
horrifying
zombie.
bald Corey Feldman killed him.
Yeah. And in Halloween 6, now he's like there's some sort of reason why he's
You know, if that
big.
fucking character had just chilled out and left in there, he never would have come back.
In
Jason would not have been the zombie he is.
In Halloween 4 and 5, Michael Myers is, I think they gave him a new protagonist to chase after, which is this girl who ended up playing the.
Well, isn't Jamie Lee Curtis in like all of them?
No,
She's
no.
definitely
Jamie Lee
in
Curtis was
H2O
in.
and all
No,
that,
no.
right?
Jamie Lee Curtis was in part 1, 2, and 7. So
Really? I thought she was in like pretty much all of them.
no, she died in part 2.
Then
And
how
in
did she
part-
come back?
In part 7, she faked her death. In part 2.
Okay, yeah,
And
so I
then-
definitely haven't seen.
and
I
then she-
probably, at
then she
some point
dies
in
at the beginning
my life
of-
seen bits and pieces of all of them, but
She
I
dies
can't
in the beginning
remember.
of part 8. So it's kind of like they go, fuck you, Jamie Lee Curtis, go to
I
hell.
remember like H2O, and I remember not.
Yeah,
like,
I remember just hating how Michael Myers' mask looked. Like I saw that one and I was just like, "This is stupid." This movie, because it was written by the guy who wrote Scream, and it was trying to be, you know, what I mean, it was
I
trying
know
to be.
you like Scream, but like
I
I,
did like
really
Scream.
don't like what it did to horror movies.
Made it really self-aware. You mean?
It just made it like appealing to like teenagers or something.
Me, I'm a sucker for mysteries.
Although I did like that movie you made us watch and review that I had never seen before, where death is chasing them.
Final Destination.
Yeah, that was actually like shockingly a good movie, but it's totally like inspired by that Scream type of thing.
I think it might have came around the same time or even before Scream. I'm not sure. No, it came out after Scream. You're right. But the thing with Scream, why I liked Scream was because it was like a mystery. Who done it? Like who's the character that killed people? That's why. And that's,
You know what I'm saying? It's like more.
No,
like,
I get what you're saying. It's more about a. I get what you're saying. It's a weirdo slash. It's like Freddy. It's a weirdo version of a slasher film. Because in
Right.
Final Destination, it's death killing people. You can't stop death. But with Halloween, I mean, there's not much you can say about Halloween besides watching the first one. It's a good film to watch if you just want to see this girl running away for 40 minutes at the end. It's good. Everything about it is campy, but it's straight up good. It looks good. The rest of the movies, I don't give a shit about.
Joe Loomis is cool, and I like. I actually kind of want to watch like all of them now, except maybe I'll watch the third one, but like a separate.
Just watch them all and the remakes. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, well, I've seen bits and pieces of probably all of them, and I definitely have seen the remake like a
Did you
number
watch
of
the
times.
one with Busta Rhymes?
What?
See the one with Busta Rhymes? They were trying to urbanize it a little bit, just a little bit.
Maybe a long time ago, but I'm just saying like I don't remember them because I never gave a shit about this character, and I feel bad. Like I guess whatever, but you know.
I mean, you got to show your respect for the character, but he's a character. So
Yeah,
I don't
like
really
I
care.
acknowledge.
I
that,
respect
like,
John Carpenter for
thing,
making the movie.
but I don't know. I guess I just never cared about like the mainstream franchises.
What they did, I believe, with with Halloween 8, 7, yeah, 8 is that. Was it 8 or 9?
I was always more into like Demon Knight
What the
and
fuck
shit like
happened
that.
in 8? Well, one of them had to deal with him going into his house, and there was an 8 and a 9, but for the life of me, I don't know which one was which. But one of them had Busta Rhymes and who's that model, the very pretty black model with the big forehead?
The one that has a
America's
thing
Top
going
Model?
against Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks, herself. She was in it.
Oh, okay. I know she has like this thing going back and forth with
Is
this
it
other
Wendy
model.
Williams you're talking about? Anyway, it's Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes, and they're running this. I don't know if I think it was part 9. I'm sure. So I don't know what happened in part 8. But anyway, there's a guy on the internet helping tell this girl to go to which room to avoid Michael Myers. It's just fucking bad. And then
It's like
Michael
bored,
Myers,
but it's
and then
straight up
Busta
flash.
Rhymes dressed up as Michael Myers, and he karate kicks Michael Myers. It's fucking bad, man. It's just.
But Busta Rhymes is awesome though.
It's almost like
like as a person, like every time you.
it's
see
almost like,
him-
you know, a Leprechaun Goes to the Hood. Like they were trying to find a new demographic to watch their horror films. You know, that kind of thing. But they were slightly skewing African American. But Busta
I mean,
Rhymes.
Busta
Rhymes is terrible. Busta Rhymes is horrible in that movie.
By horror movies because you always like fucking hear it mentioned and referenced and shit, and like
What?
every song I've ever heard, pretty much.
Yeah, it's true. Well, wait, what? That.
Saying like a lot of rap music.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
references fucking horror movies.
Busta Rhymes, he says like his acting in that movie was so fucking stupid. He says a line. He goes, because they kill Michael Myers in that one. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge with the finger quotes. He gets
Right.
electrocuted or burned to death, and then they pull the coroner's bag off him, the body bag off him. And he goes, "You look like some chicken fried motherfucker."
Oh god. See, this is what I don't get in all these movies.
He's like
Every
a killer
single-
shark biting his shit. What?
Every movie, every horror movie where that's like this kind of thing, which is they're all pretty much the same thing. Why when the guy is dead, supposedly, Michael Myers is laying on the ground, he's dead. Why don't they all just fucking go up
Decapitate
and walking slowly up to him and poking him, and he's gonna grab you? Just grab like a fucking knife and decapitate him,
That's
and
what
then
I
cut his head into like 8 million pieces, and then rip his heart out and burn it in a fire and all these things. Like, why don't they do that?
I'm trying to think of a movie that did that, but I haven't seen anything like that.
Like vampire movies, like the idea of like pulling out their heart and shoving garlic in their decapitated head, all that stuff. Like, that's the right approach.
Wait till we do Laid to Rest 1 and 2. That's the worst. The worst. Anyway, but great violence in those. But yeah, listen, there's nothing more we can really say with Michael Myers. Really,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm
Michael
not,
Myers, like, personally, I like the fucking look of the character. I got nothing
I
but
respect
respect for
his-
John Carpenter and Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis. It's a seminal horror film that you probably have to watch. You have to watch it because, you know, I mean, it led the way for other films besides Black Christmas. Did you see what
Yeah.
year Black Christmas was made? Oh, 1974, right? But it was the opposite of Star Wars, which had come out in 1977. You know, it's the opposite
Right.
thrill ride. And for that, you know, I'm gonna have to obviously give it a fucking. Let's do the rating system. I would
Okay.
give it a 8 out of 10. Blonde woman showing her humongous tits to a guy who she thinks is her boyfriend under a white sheet with glasses on him.
Right, yeah, that was funny, actually, when he was dressed as the sheep thing.
Imagine if you had the sheet on and then you see a second bulge start to form underneath the sheet.
Alright,
And then he just stops killing people and he starts fucking her in the ass. But go ahead.
I'm gonna give this for what it is, like, it was really good. I'll give it like an 8 also. 8 out of 10, I don't know, I can't even think. 8 out of 10,
Jamie Lee Curtis penis?
a guy being so strong that he can stab a knife through a guy, nailing him to the wall behind him.
Yeah, it's true. And then he looks up and down, right? Or he looks sideways. So with that, the next film is...
What is it? Oh, Jennifer's Body?
Yeah, you go. Jennifer's
Jennifer's
Body.
Body. Yeah. Jennifer's Body.
And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Shma-ma-ya-ya.